Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of FSN Overtime. I'm your host, Judd Bailey, alongside here, Will Lucas. And what a fun matchup we had this afternoon. A 41-20 win for your Faulkner Eagles Futures team. Dominated toward the end of the game. Took them a little while to get going. What do you think the halftime adjustment was?
You know, it was really just, came down to execution. They had a lot of things going well for them, but whether it be penalties or just negative plays, they just did not execute very well in the first half. But in the second half, they really turned things around, both offensively and defensively. Defensively, throughout the first half, really, that's what kept them in the game. They gave the offense plenty of opportunities to score, and they gave them great field position, but the offense was not able to execute. But then second half comes around, and they execute to perfection. They execute and play complementary football. The offense is able to take advantage of what the defense is giving them, great field opportunities, and the defense themselves are also forcing turnovers and that lead to touchdowns as well. So great complementary football by both the offense and the defense today.
So this Futures team is now sitting at 2-1, even though their record doesn't officially count on a stat sheet, but nonetheless, still a great game they played this afternoon. Let's talk about the defense. So game one, they have a shutout. The only 2 points was from a safety on a block punt. Game two comes out, they give up 39. The spread offense of Tennessee Valley really hurt them. They got beat on the perimeter a lot. And then they come in here today, and they only give up 14 points, then a late-time touchdown. So how about the defense? What are your expectations through the rest of the year? Were you proud of how they played today, how they've been playing? What do you think the adjustments were? Tell me about that defense.
Yeah, very proud of the defense. You know, they've played well all season, save the game against Tennessee Valley. And they've just done a really, really good job at winning the line of scrimmage, forcing turnovers, and causing havoc for the opposing quarterback. We saw plenty of times throughout this game today that they struggled with ball security, and that you have to give credit to the defensive line for causing the quarterback to be pressured in that way. So I'm looking forward to seeing this defense to continue their momentum and continue their stretch of fierceness and toughness into the coming season.
Yeah, absolutely. So that does it for our segment on the Futures football team. Coming up, we'll be joined by head coach, Coach Brown. And then to close it out, we'll talk about yesterday's game against Bethel here on FSN Overtime. Welcome back to FSN Overtime. We're now joined by Coach Brown after this win today, 41-21 for the Futures game. But let's back up to yesterday. Tough loss yesterday on the home field with Bethel coming into town. You know, you started out down 9-0 at the half, came out swinging, and then the wheels kind of fell off from there. So what are you taking into this week of practice after a tough loss?
Yeah, I mean, I just think the fact that we're not there yet, but we're right there, if that makes any sense. You know, our guys did some really, really good things. We never question right now if we're going to play with good effort. We never, you know, that's a given that our guys are motivated to play hard. We just have to learn to play smart and clean and, you know, have the ability to execute a little bit better than what we did. But we played against a really good football team, and, you know, it's two really good football teams that we went toe-to-toe with, and I don't feel like the score was indicative of how we played. But at the same time, the score got out of hand at the end because of a couple mistakes and the simple things that the good news is they're easy to correct, you know. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, two good football teams you went toe-to-toe with, and there's nothing but good football teams on the rest of the schedule. Either the opponents are either ranked or receiving votes. So you've got your work cut out for you the rest of the way. What is your approach going into practice, into the film room, and into the rest of the year?
Well, just to continue to learn and grow, continue for these guys to buy into the culture that we're creating here and also help develop it. And, you know, just try to we don't have to worry about the rest of our schedule. We just have to worry about being 1-0 this week. That's what we try to do. We take it one game at a time, don't look ahead, focus on what we can do well against the opponent at hand, and then we'll move on from there.
So how about today? 41-20 win for this Futures team, and how about that Futures defense? Creating turnovers, getting scores. What is your big teaching point to them in these games that not necessarily count for a record, but they're great to get reps and to get opportunities.
Well, it's a great learning opportunity for some younger guys and for a few older guys that haven't played much for whatever reason, maybe coming back from an injury, those type of things. The futures games are a lot different because we try to play everybody as many reps as we can and try to play equal reps to balance it out. So it's kind of unusual to have a score like that when you're playing everybody on the bench. But it's really good. We did some really good things. Guys had fun. You never want to see, the big benefit of having a futures program is, you don't want guys to just work hard all the time and never get to play. And so several of these guys have played futures games and now are playing for us on Saturdays, and probably about 6 to 7 guys, and there'll be more guys that played today that don't have the opportunity to play on Saturdays just because we're developing trust in them. They're learning our systems, and so it's all good. They just got to learn how to execute and learn how to play with great effort.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome back to FSN Overtime. We just had an interview with Coach Brown, gave us a lot of insight on the game today, the upcoming schedule, and boys, their upcoming schedule, a tough one. They play if my memory serves me correctly, it's 2 receiving votes teams and 3 teams that are ranked. And these are all conference games. And so they've got the gauntlet ahead of them. And so sitting at 3-2, your 2 losses are to 2 really good football teams. Coach Brown was talking about how they know that they can compete, and a little bit of self-inflicted errors is kind of what caused the loss. But what is your take? We're sitting up here in the press box all game, but what's your take on the state of the Faulkner football team right now?
This Faulkner football team, they have so much promise. The 2 losses that they had, one 2 weeks ago, it was a nail biter. We were so close, holding them to. It was close the whole first half, but then we let them come back and really just let them take control of the game. And then yesterday, just never really found momentum offensively. We struggled to find a rhythm. The offense just really couldn't get anything going. And so that's something that Faulkner's got to get fixed if they want to stay competitive throughout the rest of their season.
Yeah, so far this season, like I said, we're 3-2. Both losses, as mentioned, are to ranked teams. This time last season, we weren't really sitting in a very good spot. This time last season, we weren't playing with a lot of effort. We weren't playing with a lot of consistency. It was all self-inflicted wounds and then kind of giving up on the team. And so what's the change in culture you've seen from this era with Coach Brown so far?
Oh, it's a completely different culture. This is a team that they're not giving up. This is a team that, they see we're in a different position. And yes, we're sitting at 2 losses, but they're not giving up hope. We lost to 2 very good teams, but the best is yet to come for this team. We haven't seen the best that this football team can be. The best is still yet to come for Faulkner. They've just got to find more consistency on the offensive side of the ball and a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball as well. But the defense has played very well as well. So they just need to find that rhythm, that spark on the offense to make sure that they can sustain drives for this upcoming season. Because yesterday we saw a bunch of 3-and-outs. We saw the offense not be able to move the ball effectively, whether it be through the passing game. The running game wasn't very effective because they were able to stack the box because they knew that we were not being very effective in the passing game. So that's something that we really need to stress in this offense.
So in the NAIA, your playoff consists of all of your conference winners. Now, the Eagles, yes, they have 2 losses, but only one of them is a conference game. So, like you said, if they can put it together and the best is yet to come, they could find themselves a playoff team. This is not something we would have been talking about last year. Last year it was, man, I hope we win this game. I hope we come out and play our best. But now we're talking about a team that competes, that goes toe-to-toe, like Coach Brown said, with a lot of teams. And so postseason is still in the picture, not at the moment, not looking the best, but still you've got several games ahead of you, only one conference loss. So if the Eagles can put it together, they can definitely put themselves in a good spot. Thank you for spending your past 2 days with us with both football games that we've had. Thank you for watching this episode of FSN Overtime. As always, I'm Judd Bailey alongside Will Lucas. Have a great rest of your day. Go Eagles, and God bless.